In a quiet corner of the world, tucked away behind the tallest mountains and beyond the sleepiest streams, lay a place known as the Valley of Rainbows. It was a place painted with colors so bright and beautiful they seemed to sing. The sky wasn't just blue. It was a tapestry of sapphire, turquoise, and morning glory. The grass wasn't just green. It was a velvet carpet of emerald, jade, and lime. And arching over it all, from one shimmering peak to another, was a constant, breathtaking rainbow, a bridge made of light and laughter. It was here, in this valley of impossible color, that a little soap bubble was born. It floated up from the tip of a dew-kissed blade of grass, a perfect shimmering sphere. It caught the light of the morning sun, and fractured it into 1,000 tiny rainbows of its own. It was a beautiful bubble, just like the countless others that danced on the gentle breezes of the valley. But this bubble was different. This bubble would not pop. While its brothers and sisters would drift for a moment, winking in the sun before vanishing with a silent, invisible sigh, this one remained. It bobbed and it weaved, it floated high and dipped low. It gently bumped against the soft petal of a sundaisy and bounced away, whole and unharmed. It grazed the rough bark of a giggle willow tree and simply spun around, its rainbow skin unbroken. The bubble, which we will call Blythe, felt a sense of puzzlement. All around, it saw things of great beauty that were here one moment and gone the next. Why was it made to last? This question was the beginning of a grand adventure. The first 30 seconds of Blythe's existence were a mystery, a hook that pulled it out of its quiet meadow and into the wider world, a quest to understand its own unbreakable nature. Blythe decided it would travel to the heart of the valley, to the place where the great rainbow touched the ground. Surely, the source of all the valley's color and light would hold the answer to its question. With a gentle push from the morning wind, the little bubble began its journey. It floated over fields of whisper petal flowers, whose blooms unfurled in a riot of magenta and gold at sunrise, only to fold and fade into sleepy dust by noon. Blythe watched, mesmerized by their fleeting, brilliant display. Their beauty was a quick, bright song, and it made the bubble feel thoughtful. It saw its own constant, steady gleam and wondered if the flower's quick fading beauty was somehow more special. Its path then took it over the Crystal Creek, a stream whose water flowed so clearly it looked like liquid glass. In the creek, tiny fish with scales like polished opals would leap from the water, hang in the air for a breathtaking second, and then splash back down, their flash of color gone as quickly as it appeared. Blythe hovered above the surface, watching its own perfect, unchanging reflection stare back. The reflection seemed lonely, a constant sphere in a world of beautiful, fleeting moments. The bubble felt a strange pang, a feeling it could not name. It was the feeling of being an observer, a permanent fixture in a world of delightful change. As the sun climbed higher, casting long warm shadows across the valley, Blythe floated towards a grove of ancient moss-covered stones. Here it witnessed something truly magical. A gossamer spider was finishing its web. The web was a masterpiece, an intricate doily of silk threads strung between two sun-warmed rocks. As the morning mist settled, tiny droplets of water clung to every thread, turning the entire web into a necklace of countless glittering diamonds. It was perhaps the most beautiful thing Blythe had ever seen. It was a perfect, fragile net of jewels. Blythe drifted closer, careful not to disturb it. It watched how each droplet caught the sun and held a tiny rainbow within it, a miniature version of the great one arching over the valley. But then a small, cheerful sunbeam, a little warmer than the rest, pierced through the canopy of leaves above. It touched one of the dewdrop diamonds. For a moment the droplet blazed with light, and then it vanished, turning into a whisper of vapor. Soon, another beam followed, and another droplet disappeared. One by one, the jewels of the web were fading away. The spider, having finished its work, rested nearby, unbothered. It seemed to understand that the web's dewy beauty was only meant for the early morning. Blythe felt a sense of sadness as the last droplet evaporated, leaving the web a simple, silvery outline. Was beauty always meant to disappear so quickly? Feeling more curious than ever, Blythe continued on. The air grew sweeter, filled with the scent of honey and sunlight. It had arrived at the sun nectar meadows, home to the flutterwing butterflies. These were no ordinary butterflies. They emerged from their chrysalises, lived for a single glorious day of flight, and then as the sun set, their wings would dissolve into a shower of sparkling, golden dust that settled on the flowers, helping new seeds to grow. Blythe hovered at the edge of the meadow, a silent observer. It watched as a new butterfly pushed its way out of its silken cocoon. Its wings, still wet and crumpled, slowly unfolded. They were magnificent, patterned with swirls of orange, purple, and gold, like a sunset painted on stained glass. The butterfly took a moment, gathering its strength, before launching into its first ever flight. It danced in the air, a living jewel, fluttering from one flower to another. It seemed to fly with pure joy, a celebration of its single precious day. Blythe followed the butterfly for hours, watching its joyful, looping dance. It never seemed to rest. It was as if it knew its time was short, and it wanted to experience every single drop of sweetness the meadow had to offer. There was no sadness in its flight, only a vibrant, energetic happiness. This was a powerful lesson for the little bubble. The butterfly's beauty wasn't lessened by its short life. In fact, it seemed to be amplified. Its one day was filled with more dance and joy than some creatures experience in a lifetime. Have you ever seen a butterfly and wondered where it was going in such a hurry? Perhaps it was on its own special one-day adventure, just like the flutterwings of Rainbow Valley. As dusk began to approach, the butterfly's movement slowed. It landed gently on the head of a large sundaisy. Its beautiful wings began to shimmer and lose their form. Slowly, they dissolved into a cascade of glittering gold dust that floated down and dusted the center of the flower. Blythe watched, no longer feeling sad, but filled with a quiet sense of awe. The butterfly was gone, but its beauty had been passed on, left behind to help new life begin. It wasn't an end, but a transformation. The valley was now bathed in the soft, orange glow of sunset. Blythe knew it was close to its destination. The air hummed with a gentle melodic sound, and the great rainbow ahead seemed brighter than ever. It floated over a final hill and saw it. The source of the rainbow, the heart of the valley. It was a magnificent waterfall, cascading down a cliff of pure white crystal. The water wasn't water as we know it, it was liquid light. And as this light tumbled down the cliff, the spray caught the last rays of the sun, creating the permanent, perfect rainbow that gave the valley its name. Below the waterfall was a perfectly still, circular pool. The water in the pool was dark and as smooth as polished obsidian. It reflected the sky, the waterfall, and the rainbow with perfect clarity. Blythe, filled with a sense of wonder, drifted slowly down towards the surface of this magic mirror. It expected to find an answer here, perhaps a wise old creature or a magical inscription that would explain its unpoppable nature. But there was nothing there. Only silence, the gentle hum of the waterfall, and the still, dark water. Blythe floated just above the surface, looking down. And there it saw its own reflection. But it was not the simple, clear bubble it had always seen. Something had changed. Its own shimmering, transparent skin was no longer just reflecting the rainbow in the sky. Within its delicate sphere, Blythe could see faint, swirling colors that were not its own. It saw the brilliant, fleeting magenta of the whisper petal flowers. It saw the flash of opal from the leaping fish in the crystal creek. It saw the diamond-like glitter of the dewdrops on the spider's web. And it saw the vibrant, joyful gold of the flutterwing butterfly's wings. In that moment, Blythe understood everything. It wasn't meant to be the main attraction. It wasn't made to be the most beautiful thing in the valley. Its purpose was not to last forever for its own sake. Its gift, its unique and special power, was its ability to hold the beauty of others. Because it did not pop, it became a gentle keeper of memories. It had witnessed the fragile, temporary beauty of the world around it, and that beauty had become a part of it. The dewdrop, the flower, the butterfly, they were all gone, but a memory of their color, their light, and their joy now swirled safely inside the unpoppable bubble. Its resilience wasn't a sign of its own importance, but a vessel to cherish the importance of things that couldn't last. What do you think is the most beautiful thing you have ever seen? Can you close your eyes and see its colors inside your mind, just like Blythe held the colors of the valley? A deep, peaceful happiness filled the little bubble. It was not lonely anymore. It was full. It was a floating, shimmering gallery of all the beautiful moments it had witnessed. It had learned the great secret of the Valley of Rainbows. That true beauty is often fragile and must be cherished with a gentle heart. To cherish something is to hold it carefully, to remember its worth long after it is gone. Blythe's purpose was to be the valley's gentle heart. With this newfound understanding, Blythe's quest was complete. It turned away from the waterfall and began its slow, drifting journey back through the valley. It no longer felt like a stranger, an outsider that couldn't participate in the beautiful, fleeting dance of life and disappearance. It now felt like a guardian. It floated back over the sun-nectar meadows. The golden dust of the butterflies shimmered on the flowers, and Blythe glowed with a soft, golden light in return, a silent thank you. It passed the grove of ancient stones where the gossamer spider was already spinning a new web for the next morning's dew. Inside Blythe, a diamond-like sparkle swirled in memory of the first web. It drifted over the crystal creek, and as a new generation of opal-scaled fish leaped, their colors seemed to leap inside the bubble as well. When it finally returned to its own quiet meadow, the sun had set, and the stars were beginning to appear in the deep velvet sky. The great rainbow had faded, to be reborn with the morning sun. But inside Blythe, a tiny, perfect rainbow still swirled, a constant reminder of its journey and the lesson it had learned. The little soap bubble settled down for the night, nestled between the soft leaves of a moon clover. It was no longer just a bubble that refused to pop. It was a keeper of stories, a guardian of moments, a tiny, floating museum of fragile beauty. And it knew that tomorrow, it would wake up and set out again, ready to witness and cherish all the new, beautiful, and fleeting wonders the Valley of Rainbows had to offer. Its adventure wasn't over. It was just beginning. For the world is full of fragile beauty, in valleys far away and even in your own backyard. And now, Blythe knew its wonderful purpose was to see it, to cherish it, and to hold it safe, a shimmering reminder for all to see. The valley was full of other secrets too, like the whispering woods where trees hummed ancient songs, and the glimmering caves where stones glowed with their own soft light. Blythe wondered which adventure would call to it next. Educational core. This story teaches children to recognize and appreciate the concept of fragile beauty, understanding that some things are precious because they are temporary. Moral core. The story imparts the value that true beauty is fleeting and must be actively cherished and remembered in our hearts and minds.